Live here on Spectrum News 1. The time right now is 12:01. Breaking news today. State authorities decided to remove all children from a wilderness therapy camp in the western part of our state. Family members say Jariah Reed was walking out of this discount store while talking to the suspect on her cell phone. They say when she got to her car, that's when the suspect, who's also one of the children's father, started firing shots. Family members are just devastated even 17 years later. This happened on Bayleaf Road here in Raleigh. That tree that you see right there, that is the tree that he hit, and his family has a message to anyone who gets behind the wheel on New Year's Eve.
Community leaders tell us they are prepared to address mental health, and they say when you look at memorials like this for young Dov, they say it really should send a message to the community that if we don't address mental health, you're going to see more sites like this across the city.
New this morning, for the first time, we are seeing all angles of what happened November 13th when police arrested a couple accused of smoking marijuana at a Charlotte bus stop. Very little information is being given at this time, but we have been following the tweets on their website, and just take a look. This is one of the tweets from the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, and it says numerous law enforcement officers were struck by gunfire in an active situation. Welcome back to Spectrum News 1 and happy Sunday to you. This is such a beautiful day, great day to get outside. The meteorologist is always our best friend with temperatures like this. I spoke with Pastor Bill Atkins, a prominent pastor in Memphis, Tennessee. He says he's been in touch with the district attorney's office, and he says the question that is still not getting answered is why did officers stop Tyree Nichols? We are at Addison McDowell's headquarters, and this is where he is set to give his speech. And I want to show you this from about an hour ago. There weren't a lot of people in here, but you can see that people are starting to trickle in. There is a lot of excitement out here. Laverne Lucier places flowers every other week at the memorial site where her son was gunned down 1 month after his 18th birthday in his Durham neighborhood.
All of a sudden, my daughter called me, and she was like, "Mom, I hear gunshots and they sound close." And I always told her, if you hear anything in the neighborhood, just call 911. And then she called me back and she was telling me that it was Sincere.
August 10th marks 3 years since Lucier received that phone call about her son, Sincere Burrell, a 2020 graduate of Bull City Youth Build in Durham. His murder that shook up the community still hasn't been solved. What do you want the world to know about your son?
Sincere, he was a beautiful person. He was sweet, respectful.
Gun violence is taking the lives of a startling number of children and teenagers across North Carolina and nationwide. Firearms are the leading cause of death among children and teens in our state.
Let's be sensible, because you'll feel different once this knocks on your front door and you've lost a child.
We spoke with Lucier the same day family and friends attended the funeral of Chloe Fennell, a 5-year-old who lost her life to gun violence this month.
But for every mom that has lost their baby, you know, that's your baby.
Experts blame the crime trend on the pandemic and the number of countless guns left in unlocked vehicles.
Just keep them in a safe place, because so many guns that are being used have been stolen.
According to NorthCarolinaSafe.org, in 2020, 211 firearms were stolen from vehicles in Raleigh. In Durham, 62% of the 185 gun thefts from cars in 2022 stemmed from unlocked vehicles.
It's always painful to come out here because I feel like he shouldn't be here.
Every time Lucier visits her son's cemetery about 5 minutes down the road from his memorial, it's a reminder of why she keeps advocating for an end to gun violence that's taking the lives of countless children.
You're going to always be a reminder in my walk of life, and I'll continue to do things in your honor to the day I leave this world.
What a powerful way to keep the message out about her son. A 2021 behavioral risk factor surveillance system survey revealed more than half of the firearms stored loaded at homes in North Carolina were unlocked. On August 10th, the mother you just heard from is hosting a back-to-school giveaway drive in her son's memory. It's at 6 p.m. at Duke Park in Durham.
I hope you heard me. I hope you heard me when I told you I loved you.
Jasmine Torres delivered a powerful eulogy for her husband.
You'll forever be missed.
Raleigh police officer Gabriel Torres was one of 5 victims killed in a mass shooting in Northeast Raleigh. Officers arrested a 15-year-old accused of killing the victims. She found her husband wounded in his car as he was on his way to work. Jasmine did everything she could to try to save him.
I'm sorry if I scared you. I didn't know I could scream that loud. I'm glad you were still with me long enough so that I can kiss your skin while it was still warm. While I could still feel the pulse of your heart.
Officer Torres was with the police department for 18 months. Before that, he served as a Marine at Camp Lejeune. He leaves behind his wife and 2-year-old daughter, who are left with memories of the man they called their hero.
I'll forever yearn for your touch.
Daryl, this is a picture of 32-year-old Valentina Pounds. Now, her mother told me all she wanted was to become an organ donor. That was after her friend lost her life. Her recipient has one word to describe how she's feeling 12 years later. Thankful.
But I'm still here by the grace of God, and I'm thankful. Okay. So thankful. I'm thankful.
Beverly White gets emotional thinking about the day she was in dire need of a double lung transplant. Not only did she get her wish, White keeps in touch with the family who allowed her to have a second chance at life.
But I am certainly so very, very grateful, and I'm honored. You chose to bless me to be here, and you could have given her lungs to anyone, but I was in dire needs of lungs, and you didn't know all of that, but you knew I needed them, although we had never met.
Kim Pound's daughter, Valentina, was 32 when she died from an injection in her neck. Pound says the doctor hit the main artery.
I'm really blessed that she got both of my daughter's lungs, because she's really amazing and everything, and I'm just really proud of her.
Doctors told White she wouldn't have lived to see the next day if she hadn't received the gift of life.
I didn't find this out until after I got the lungs. There were 2 people there for the lungs, myself and someone else, but of course you don't know any of this. And the doctors told me that the other person, they were going to give that person the other lung. But I was a perfect match.
That's why White always manages to tell the Pound family how much she loves them.
And I will always love you, Kim. I will always love you. Love you, Kim. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. We love you. We love you more.
Now, if that is not a reason to be thankful, I don't know what else is. And something else that's very unique, Merle and Daryl, she told me that there were tens of thousands of people on that waiting list waiting to receive that transplant, but she was one of the few that was a perfect match. Merle, Daryl.
Sending us live to on Spectrum News 1. That was the scene at former President Donald Trump's rally yesterday as shots were fired. Thank you so much for joining us this Sunday on Spectrum News 1. Overnight, the FBI identified the shooter as a 20-year-old from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, named Thomas Matthew Crooks. And here's what we know about the situation so far. Authorities say Thomas Matthew Crooks attacked from a roof outside the rally security perimeter. The shooter and one attendee are dead following the rally. The former president is one of 3 people hurt in total. The Secret Service says it killed the shooter. Investigators recovered an AR-style weapon from the scene. The FBI is leading this investigation.
At this time, we have no reason to believe that there is any other existing threat out there.
And investigators with the FBI say it was surprising that the shooter was able to fire off so many rounds so quickly. Former President Donald Trump posting on Truth Social after the shooting. He said in part, quote, "I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also to the family of another person that was badly injured. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country." About the shooting itself, the former president went on to say, quote, I knew immediately that something was wrong in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. And we know right now that President Joe Biden has been in contact with Donald Trump following the assassination attempt. They spoke late Saturday night after Donald Trump was released from a Pittsburgh area hospital. President Biden spoke after the shooting, saying that violence has no place in the United States.
But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem.
And we are also hearing from some of those who were at the rally and witnessed the assassination attempt firsthand. Many of the attendees say that they thought the shots were fireworks at first.
I heard the shots.
That is so scary. This is a live look right now this morning from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where the Republican National Convention will proceed as planned this week. That in the wake of the assassination attempt against the former president and presumptive GOP nominee. But with that shooting in Pennsylvania, security is ramping up around the stadium that will hold the convention. Spectrum News 1 reporter Wendy Strong is in Milwaukee with reactions.
Shots were fired on Saturday.
Thank you for that, Wendy. And we know right now that several speakers from North Carolina have been confirmed to speak at the Republican National Convention. That includes Lieutenant Governor and Republican candidate for governor Mark Robinson, Representative Richard Hudson, and Reverend Franklin Graham. Starting tomorrow, be sure to tune in for live coverage of RNC from our Spectrum News team of political experts from across the country. That's each evening through Thursday, starting at 8 o'clock p.m. and then again at 10 o'clock p.m. And even if you are not a Spectrum customer, be sure to make sure that you download the app. Our RNC coverage is still available to you live through the Spectrum News app. It is available wherever you have your favorite devices. The time right now is 7:09. Coming up next on Spectrum News 1, statements of support pouring out from North Carolina's political leaders, what those in Washington and in Republican leadership are saying as we move forward from yesterday's assassination attempt, and a look at security around campaign stops. We're going to speak with a North Carolina expert about what goes into planning these rallies and what he thinks will happen as the result of the shooting. Be sure to stay with us here on Spectrum News 1.